Okay, guys, welcome to Talking News. We're going to talk about the burn piles and the evidence that they found on Andreen Mcdonald. Now, police are saying that there was a burn pile when they first visited the home, and then there was a different burn pile when they come back for their second warrant. The thing is, we're trying to figure out, did he try to dispose of his wife's body by means of incineration? I'm not really certain if he has the balls to actually do something like this. I mean, it's out in the open. The first burn pile, he knows they discover it, and then the police come back, and then there's a second one. The problem is we do not have an affidavit right now to look over, and they are keeping this case closed down a lot tighter than they did the Kelsey Barrett or the Chris Watts case. Now, this is Andreen Mcdonald. She is still missing. They have search crews. They have a lot of people out there volunteering in the community and outside of the community trying to find her. They believe she may be dead. And then there's evidence that the police collected, a video where the daughter explains that she's seen her mother, basically having trouble breathing. They also found blood on the light switch in the bathroom, on the floor. They also found blood on cell phones and one of their vehicles. We haven't heard what they found in the burn piles, other than the second burn pile contained, paper and debris. And then the first burn pile, supposedly a friend of hers found a zipper, which means he was burning some kind of clothing. Andre, a major in the USA Air Force, is he smart enough to throw police off? Were these fires there just to get rid of, the paper evidence and things like that, and to distract the officers? Or was it much more? Well, we weigh up all the other evidence that they found. Besides the two burn piles, they found a shovel of fresh dirt, which I hope they test the dirt to see, what area that dirt come from. And then they have trash bags, coveralls, and coveralls are usually used to try to keep your body safe from getting any type of heat or chemical onto your clothing or your skin. So I'm wondering if he used some sort of solution. As quick as police moved in on him, I mean, this happened Thursday night supposedly, or early Friday morning, he really wouldn't have had time to take her body apart, I wouldn't think. And I wouldn't have thought that he would have time to try to dissolve her in any way. But I could be wrong, and I guess we'll find out in the future. So I'm thinking most likely, unless he's some kind of, he knew how to, disassemble a human that quickly. I'm thinking he buried her somewhere like near a water area close to the home. Now, there's a lot of open area out where they live, and there are plenty of water sources that you could take and hide a body quite easily, I believe, if you put a lot of effort into it. Hopefully the police are tested the coveralls to see what materials they find on there that will give them better clues which area to search, what terrain, what environment. But right now, those of us that are keeping up with the story, we're kind of left out in the cold. They're not wanting us to be included, and that is because they don't want to jeopardize the trial that'll probably be coming up very soon. Okay, I want to go over the search warrant that they done Saturday morning, where they found out that he had purchased 2 5-gallon barrels of gasoline, a hatchet, heavy-duty trash bags, a shovel, gloves, and they also found a receipt for those items torn up in bits of pieces. Now, in a garbage can, they found heavy coveralls that appeared to have been worn and a claw hammer with woody plant debris. And that's according to the affidavit that media found. But you know, those are going to give police the biggest clues they need right there. The coveralls. But then again, if they're in the garbage and then he had 2 burn piles, they might just be a distraction. I think they need to start looking near water or even in their own yard underneath the burn piles. But when you have no clue what's going on, it's hard to find, clues or the subject you're looking for. It's not an easy job, that's for sure. I've read comments on this case, and there's a social website on Facebook. There's several of them. I mean, I have one as well, but it's a mixed media source. But there are Facebook pages dedicated just to Andreen Mcdonald and her case, where people are actually discussing, what they think happened in the case. There's a few, interesting ideas, but to be honest with you, it looks like, he really threw everybody off. He did a good job. And so, for example, he went to visit a base not too far from where he lives. He didn't have any business there. Police cannot figure out why in the world he, went to visit this base. And a lot of comments that I'm reading from you guys is you guys think that is a distraction, which I have to agree. There's a possibility that he did do this to distract people. But then we have the part where he leaves the house and goes to a gun shop. I want to talk about that. I really don't think that was a distraction at all. I think it was a mental moment. It's a mental breakdown for him. I think he planned on purchasing the gun to kill everybody that was at his house. Police, kind of suggested suicide. But I have to tell you, if you're purchasing a lot of bullets, you only need one for suicide. And the state that he was in, according to deputies, is he was smirking and kind of laughing like he got one over on everybody at the time that they arrested him. So, what was his purpose for the gun and the bullets? What do you think? Comment below. I think he lost his mind. I think he was going to actually, come back to the house and use it on whoever was there. He figured if he was going down, he was going to go down with a bang. But that is just my speculation of what I thought he was going to do with it. Hopefully we do find out the truth about the purpose of buying so much ammo in the near future. But it wasn't too long ago, I wanted to mention this, that Mcdonald Andre had filed for divorce from his wife February 2017. And in that petition for divorce, Mcdonald noted that the marriage had become insupportable because of discord or conflict of personalities. But he later withdrew that petition. But it also showed that he was filing for properties that they both own. So we didn't get much information as to why, that was canceled and he decided not to go through with that. But I'm guessing, they've had a problem for quite a while, at least on Andre's side. He's had a issue with his wife and thinking maybe he was probably not getting the attention he wanted from her. That's just an idea. And that the money played a big role in their relationship as well. But according to employees that spoke about each of their personalities and give us a description of their character. Andreen was outgoing. She cared about, all of her staff, her friends. She treated them like family, whereas Andre was the type that just treated everybody like business. He really didn't have any, connection to these people whatsoever. Now, these guys are from Jamaica. They come over from Jamaica to Florida, and then he was stationed in San Antonio, Texas. And before they shut down their Facebook, I watched a few videos of this couple together, and they were adorable, I thought. They made me laugh watching them together. They were hilarious. Everything seemed to be great. So I wouldn't suspect it, that there would have been trouble brewing between the two. And there was only a handful within their circle that suspected, any type of foul play. One of those people was the manager of her gym, and Andreen would work out every morning around 5 a.m. She told us that Andreen had given her clues that things were not so great at home. And one of the comments that Andreen made to her was, if she was to ever come up missing, it would be because Andre killed her. Then you have Miss Flores, which worked for one of the assisted living buildings. She gave us clues into, the behind door scenes between Andre and Andreen. And she told us that, she heard glass breaking, she heard them argue. And this was during the time that they were living in a building that was half home and then half assistant living home. The Mcdonald's lived in the upper portion, and the business was run on the lower portion. So she was able to hear, a lot of the stuff that went on whenever they got into arguments. That being said, we didn't get a lot of details other than, like I mentioned, broken glass and, the sense of arguing. And a lot of people are saying, are they going to be able to take this case and trial it with no body? And yes, they are going to do that. They're going to do the best they can to take him down and make him face the consequences he deserves. As to which direction they're going to go and what charges they're going to use in order to do that is uncertain, because they're still collecting evidence. They're searching very hard to try to find Andreen's body, if she is in fact deceased, so that they can, be certain that they can have him face the true deceit consequences that he has brought on to himself. The worst part about the story is the daughter that's involved. He says, "I love my daughter." And you see him say that as they have him handcuffed and walking him towards the door at the jailhouse. And what a lot of us agree with is, if he loved his daughter, he wouldn't have done this in the first place. Especially not in front of her. And that's some of the clues we're getting, the tips we're getting, that she might have seen the whole entire thing happen. So that is the saddest part of the story. And she is also autistic. According to sources, they say that she's not really super verbal in the first place. So we do feel bad for the daughter. That's the most important part of the story, in my opinion. So they just held a vigil for Miss Andreen Mcdonald, and her family attended the vigil, along with a lot of people in the community and outside of the community, even people who actually have been through this exact same thing almost as Andreen's parents. One of the speakers that they had at the vigil, she had lost her husband, and she was there sharing her story, trying to give them, some support and hope. As for any new information, we really don't have any at the moment. There still have, searches in progress. There's a few days that they haven't done the searches, but they have people from all over volunteering to help the family search. So as I get more information, I'll share it. This was just something to kind of go over the story and talk about it. See what you guys think. Leave a comment below, and I'm going to go ahead and close it out for now, and I'll see you soon. Thanks so much for watching.